Good morning, everybody. It's Bob Phibbs, the Retail Doctor. Today is Sunday, November 22nd, 2020. And I'm glad you're here and joining me. Please do me a favor and type in the comment section where you're joining in from. And today I want you to add one thing because in the United States, we're about to celebrate Thanksgiving. What's one thing you are thankful for in your business only this week? I know it's sometimes we go, oh, I had a grandkid or I got married or something like that. But I really want you to think of what's one thing that you are thankful for in your business in 2020. So type that in. Let me know where you're joining in from. I know we have people from Greece and Australia, Russia. We had China, several over in Ireland and the UK. And of course, here in the United States where I'm based. So I wanted to start off. Good morning, Joanne. You're always first. I love that. Thankful that you still have a business. Well, hey, you know what? Take it from there. That's good. Good morning, Heidi. Glad you're here. So I decided I would start off and with this picture. As you may or may not know, I got my start selling in shoes when I put myself through college, and our store didn't look much different than that. Actually, you would have the men's dress shoes. And then there would be casual shoes as well. And how I cut my chops on add-ons and suggestive selling was you understood that the number one goal that you had was I want to get this guy's foot out of his shoe and onto what we call the Brannock device. That's where you measure it, because once that happens, he's mine. And so I would always try to get 4 or 5 pair out the door. I know if you're younger than 30, you may not have known that really the only place you could have gotten shoes was to actually go to a brick and mortar store. And guys in particular were loath to do it, but they also had to dress up a lot more. So they would go through those very expensive shoes pretty well. Well, I had managed a Nunn-Bush shoe shop for a number of years, and I'd been recruited by Florsham to come down and work with them. And this is back in the Glendale Gallery. It was the number one or two mall in Southern California at the time, brand new. And so it was great. And I really had a good time with it. I learned an awful lot. I think that's the thing, that I really learned what it was like to upsell and to suggest, because if you didn't do it well enough, you didn't eat. And our boss was Ed. And Ed was interesting. He was required to sell a certain percentage of the store volume to hold on to this great store. And so what he would do is he would randomly just take a few of our sales so that he could make his quota and look good to his bosses. So that was kind of our relationship. And I guess I'd worked there about 6 months or so. And we come to the week before Thanksgiving. And Ed says, oh, I want you all to meet me at this restaurant at 7:30 and we're going to have breakfast. And it's like, okay. So we all had breakfast there, and it was just a nice breakfast. There wasn't really much about it. He just said, we're coming into this last 6 weeks. I know we're going to do great. And he went over some product details and suggestions for add-ons and those kind of things. And then at the end, he said, now come out to the car. And he had this, I guess they were like woven kind of trash baskets. It was a basket, but they're kind of like big. And in the back was one for each of us, and they had been filled up with, he'd been quartered so that there was popcorn and there were nuts and there was something else and a handwritten note from him to each of us thanking us for the job we did. And that always stuck with me because I thought, A, this guy didn't have to do it. B, I had no expectation of it. And C, it certainly made me feel more important knowing I was coming into these next 6 weeks. And so I encourage all of you to do something about the same thing and make sure that you have a meeting. I get it, that's going to be tougher with social distancing, but try to get out of the I can't. I think that's where an awful lot of us get stuck, is we instead just ask a better question, which is how could I? And then the answers come to you. But have food. Food's always good, whether you bring it in, whether it's delivered, whatever it's going to be. And yeah, I get it. There's safe food handling that you got to look at now too with COVID. But 2, give them something unexpected, not like and here's a gift card. Here's 20% off if you buy stuff from me. That's not much of a gift. So try to think of something unexpected. Ideally, something personal would be like way better. And don't wait till Christmas, because by then they're tired, they're, burned out, and they're thinking that, it's a given, whereas this would surprise them. And then make sure that you had some kind of a note, just that we appreciate what you're doing, something specific to them, and make sure that it stands out in their minds. One thing that we just got a study out this week, and it said shrink is at an all-time high. Do you all know what shrink is? Shrink is when you go to count, we should have 100 of this, and we have 50. And what happened to that other 50? That's called shrink. It went, or it never arrived, right? So it could be that someone didn't really match the purchase order, the packing slip to the purchase order, and they just signed for it and said that you got 100 when you really only got 50. That's rare, but it does happen. People shoplift. Absolutely, people shoplift all day long, except there's so many less people out in stores. A little harder to think that's probably the main reason. The number one reason is almost always dissatisfied employees, because they feel like, well, I'm not getting it in a paycheck. I deserve this. And when that happens, I think an awful lot of things happen, right? They give unauthorized discounts to people, things go out the back door, any number of things, which, by the way, one little tip for you who are watching me today, a good way to check shrink is have somebody check the trash before you throw it out, or randomly do it, or do it in clear bags and somebody randomly checks it, because it just shows I'm looking. It just shows I'm looking. I can't tell you how many times retailers have told me that they were shocked when they did this, and then to find out, well, everybody kind of knew it about this one person, but nobody wanted to say anything. So I think the more you can make them feel valued, the better it's going to be for your store. And there's an awful lot of comments here, and I love the fact that you're giving me comments. So sweet. Give me some thumbs up. I know that, we're going with a platform, and I see something about that the video gets a little wonky, and that happens sometimes. But at the end of the day, all I can do is broadcast. So there you go. But I will take some of your questions at the end, but I only have a few today. So I wanted to get to that. But I also want to just announce that this last week, I had a really exciting honor, and that was I was one of the 8 Innovation Leadership Awards from the World Retail Forum. And that goes along with the CEO of Williams-Sonoma, with Kroger, and some other big brands you would have heard of before, for my retail sales training and for my message of hope. And why that's so exciting for me is to be validated by my peers, and certainly in the type of people, including Kroger and Sephora, to be able to have somebody be noticing and to be saying, yeah, that's it. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate all of you who are out there using SalesRx, my online sales training program. And if you're considering it, now you can know that this is an award-winning program, and that at the end of the day, it comes down to how do we get people to open their hearts to another human being. Unless you're training that, especially in a time of masks and COVID, employees are more likely going to be waiting on the sidelines and thinking something will happen, and nothing happens unless you make it happen. Can I get some thumbs up there? Oh, I got congratulations coming in. Oh, thanks very much. That's great. Yeah, I realized I hadn't really made a big deal out of it, but that's kind of a big deal to be. Look at how many other people that are individual brands there. There are 0. It is with all the other big brands. So thanks for the congratulations. I appreciate that, and it's very exciting to get that recognition. So you're not here to check out my recognition, though. You're here to get some answers to some of your questions. And again, I'll scroll through. We have an awful lot of questions here this morning, so I think that's great. Let's get to it. So first one is from Jamie. Do you think I'm missing the boat, not participating in Black Friday and Small Business Saturday, or should I just keep our regular hours and encourage people to shop local without offering special deals? Wow, that's a loaded question there, Jamie. I think that anyone should be doing Small Business Saturday, whether you're downtown or whatever you are. It's a chance to go out to the market in a time when people are noticing those press releases, and a lot of the big papers and a lot of the media are going to be covering this all the way. Also, by the way, if the media contacts you during Small Business Week or this week, whatever you do not say business is terrible, it's a make or break, you're worried, et cetera, et cetera. That's a narrative someone's already written, and they just want to plug your story in, and you never control the message once you give it. I know that I've certainly given interviews, and I think, oh, I probably shouldn't have said that. And you say, oh, can you take that back? No, if you talk to us, it's on the record, because they love it. They love being able to put whatever their spin is on your story. So don't do that. But Yes, I certainly think you can. My advice for Small Business Saturday is this is a time you get rid of, the merchandise you didn't send back to the vendor. It's the sweater that's missing a button. It's the toy that's missing some little part, whatever, and just put it at 70% off or something crazy. And it's a madhouse sale or whatever it's going to be. And you've got that deal and be able to do it. But make no mistake, we don't have Black Friday this year. It's called November. We aren't going to be having crushing crowds. We're not going to see those lines at stores, because even if those lines are at stores, they're going to be socially distanced and probably capped by an awful lot of different state laws. So I don't want to make light of our health situation right now, but I do want you to understand that yes, you do want to be there. You want to participate. You want to have your social media filled with it. Try to find a way to do something different, offer something different. In fact, in my newsletter, it's going out, actually in Europe, it's already going out. I think it's already in Ireland and the UK tonight, but in the US, it'll go out tonight. I talk about Small Business Saturday and 14 things you should do. So check that out. I've also got some videos I've collected and some other things with some great ideas. I can't cover them all here, but short answer, Jamie, yes, do it. All right. This is from Tony. I carried a new product for the first time this fall, but didn't do well, mainly because of the price point and COVID. My guess is it's more than that. It's usually not just the price, but okay. I've already ordered more for spring. When is it too late to amend or cancel a purchase order? I don't want to hurt my rep's feelings. Boy, that is a great question, Tony. First off, I say I would rather hurt somebody's feelings than not have the money to pay the bill. Typically, it's, the challenge I think end up is we buy something, we think, oh, this will be great. And because you like it, you personally like it, you fell in love with it, so you bought it, and maybe you can afford it, but your crew can't, or your customer can't. And so it comes in, and then we blame the product. And I always say blame the salespeople, because the stories go for car dealers for an awful lot of times. The dealer would find the craziest color combination and weirdest combination of options, and he would bring that in, and he knew that his guys or gals would sell it because it was so different, and it would make it into a contest to see who could do that. I think we've lost that fun of trying to sell something new. We're waiting until it's marked down, and certainly as consumers, I know a lot of us are waiting until it goes on sale because retailers are marking things down at an unprecedented rate. So I don't want that to be you. So I would encourage you to say, certainly talk to your rep, certainly say, hey, did other people have this trouble? Maybe there's something I'm not seeing. There's a benefit I'm not seeing. I know I just ended up buying some smart plugs where it's supposed to be controlled by my phone for outside lights and everything. It's like, great. And I couldn't get them to work. It's got a silly app and all these different things. And finally I realized, well, I want it to work with my Apple phone. And I go through and it's like, oh, well, you go to this app, which talks to that app. And there's like, this is ridiculous. I'm going to send these back. And then I went and I found one that just works for an Apple app, because a lot of times we buy things as a consumer, nobody explains it to us, and we don't. Or vice versa. If I'd been in that store and somebody had said to me, oh, what are you using it for? It doesn't work for that. You could have made a much bigger sale, because I've been, well, what else goes with this? Because once I say yes, it's easier for me to say yes again. That's the law of retail. Yes, you can write that down, put that on a toaster cozy. I think, Stacy, you could probably put that out somewhere on a, you'll probably copy it right there. I think that'd be great. All right. So how do I motivate new employees to continue? Who is this? This is John. How do I motivate new employees to continue different tasks daily? I think the biggest thing retailers have forgotten is, unless you use the brain, it doesn't continue working. What does that mean? When you don't ask it to compare and contrast, learn something different, explain something in a new way, and until you make the brain do something, it's going to fall back into idle. And when it falls back into idle, all it can do is take this and move this over here. We call them mindless tasks because it doesn't require anything. Here's the danger with that. Because you have left the brain at idle, all it really does is task. So now all your managers are task managers. And those of you on LinkedIn, I'm talking to you, CEOs and operations directors. This is the problem of retail right now. All we have managers doing is managing tasks. Go pick those orders, fill that table, do this. Nothing about the soft skills that makes the difference to be able to get employees to use their brain. So I encourage you to be thinking about, first off, before I forget, hire people that are self-motivated. You can't motivate another human being, right? If I hang a carrot here in front of the screen and I go, here, jump for this. If you don't like carrots, you're not going to be motivated. I don't care how many carrots I do, or it's organic, or it's already pre-peeled. Doesn't matter. So first off, find that, but also find a way every day to do bite-sized training and bite-sized learning. One thing, so I'm working on a big project right now talking about the Googleization of memory. And the trouble is that because we are now simply, well, in my case, I just asked Siri, right? So, hey Siri, tell me a joke.
I was washing the car with a friend until they said, can't you just use a sponge?
See, we use this voice activated all over the time. But the trouble is, the more that we have done that, the more the brain doesn't really have to process. We just go out and ask for the answer and get it. The problem is we don't really master the knowledge. And that's the problem when it comes to your store staff, because they're used to going out. You've got a tablet, and I can go through, if I'm selling, I don't know, Adidas, and I can put in the model and it'll tell me the 3 features of this. But if I don't really learn it, all I'm really doing is duplicating what somebody could find on the web. So it's really important, if you are a running store, for example, and you're trying to compete against the big guys, it's important for your employees to be able to compare and contrast. Oh, and this woman's running shoe, if you have a high arch, this is really good for that. Or if you're doing Pilates, this is going to be better for this or that. Yes, you can read it, but it comes down to trying it on and knowing that, because ultimately you have to be the customer Siri. This is what people miss. That's why we come to the stores, for that person to be able to compare and contrast and help us in a new way. Don't just give me the same thing that she can, right? All right, little rant there, I guess. There you go. And one other thing I wanted to tell you about today is we have set our New Year's sprint. It's going to be January the 15th, and you'll be able to sign up for just $1. You'll start Sales RX as a group of 50. And we'll have that link for you in the comments here shortly after I get off. But that gives you an idea of all that is in Sales RX, the award-winning Sales RX. And you can get started where we take a group every Friday. We have a meeting. We have additional exercises, a private Facebook group, all kinds of ways to hold you accountable to get even more out of the program. And I know several of you here have been on the program for an awful long time. So thanks for that. All right. So our last one is from Sarah. What should I look at to analyze my business for 2021? Yeah, that's a good question, Sarah. I wish I had something really groundbreaking, but I think it comes back to the basics. You've got to look at what marketing programs did you use and what was successful. What were your margins? What was your inventory turn? What did you do to train your employees? What was the average sale? It doesn't matter, even if you're closed March, April, May, just take those out, and whatever you can, any information you can think of, that's worth analyzing. So, because what you're trying to find is, what are the trends? What we're hearing from an awful lot of my clients is there is a K recovery in place. What that means is those who do not have money are shopping down. That's why Walmart and Target are doing well. Unbelievable earnings reports this week for Walmart and Target, but totally expected because they have gained so much ground during the pandemic. And then there is the top part of the K where people are splurging. They're buying the luxury items. They're buying the better items. They're going through, and since they aren't going on vacation and they aren't staying in hotels and the business guys and gals aren't traveling, they're using that time to spend on their kids or other hobbies or outside interests. So with that in mind, I think you want to say, well, where is my market? What's happening in my particular market so that I can adjust when we get into spring? I don't think it's likely that we're going to lock down the whole states anymore. It looks like the pattern is going to be to close restaurants and bars from 10 to 6 and gyms, but who knows? I don't know where it is. But my last thought today, as you are thinking about what you are thankful for, and I am thankful for all of you, because I keep saying that I've been doing this for 2 years. I looked at my notes. I've actually been doing this for almost 4 years that I've been doing Facebook Lives. And most of you have been with me for all that time. And I appreciate you hanging in with me for 20 to 30 minutes every week to find out what I think is so in the world, and then going out and doing something with it. So I appreciate you're the doers. You're the ones that know that I'm going to kick you in the butt and say, well, why aren't you doing it? And I've lost people on that, and that's fine, because I think there are plenty of people out there in the world that say good enough is good enough. And it's easy for them to just fall back. And this isn't the time to be lazy. You don't have the luxury of a negative thought. If I'm lazy, I'm just going to let whatever crap is coming in from the media in this year, and it's going to go into my brain and noodle around, and it's going to come out here, and I'm just going to talk about how hopeless everything is. And I don't want to be that guy. And you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to follow a guy like that, and you certainly don't want to end up having employees like that, I can guarantee you. So with that in mind, again, thanks for your help and inspiration. And I'm thrilled, again, World Retail Forum, thanks so much for the Innovation Award. I am thrilled, and I will make you proud as I do more in 2021 with that. We have all sorts of new things we're doing with SalesRx. We're taking on new team members. It's an exciting time, but it still comes down to every one of us saying, and hope I'm fearless. So I'm going to take a quick look through your questions, see if you got any questions here that I can answer. Oh, here's some things you're grateful for. Heidi is grateful to have an amazing team of people. I love that. Thankful for my wonderful customers who keep me going. Yeah, that's exactly it. Have you all told your customers that? This would be a great week to just do a live video, no product. Just tell them a story. What was it like in March when you had to close down? What was your feeling about it at first? What was it back, as you're getting ready to reopen, you were afraid would they come back, and the outpouring, and then try to think of one person's story of how you affected them or they affected you and why you keep doing what you do. That's the place for this is Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. Do not wait till Thursday. No one's going to be watching, and I wouldn't do it after like Wednesday at noon either, because most people are going to be out. Kathy, I sold out 500 trees before harvest time. The gift shop's doing well, especially larger items and kids' books. Cut lot trees next. Wow. So Kathy is a Christmas tree farmer. So there you go. All right. I am looking to see. Well, you know what? I think I will go through and I'll answer these offline, because there's an awful lot of them, and I don't think I can get to them all in time. But I would ask you to give me some love, give me some thumbs up, whatever platform you're on. You're on LinkedIn, it's applause. YouTube, you could comment and like and share, because quite simply, there is nobody out there that has got a message of hope in this time. I take on an awful lot of writers who want to write this same narrative. We don't know what the future looks like, but as long as we are doing it together and we are focused on it, it will draw us forward out of this muck of whatever 2020 is and into some really new and exciting things. We're already seeing it in New Zealand and China that customers are coming back in droves to brick and mortar retail stores, to restaurants when they can, and they don't have the vaccine yet, but they have been able to lower that rate of transmission. So wear a mask, make sure your employees do, make sure your customers do, and I will not see you next week, because I've decided since I got my award, I'm taking off next Sunday. So there you go. But in the meantime, I will see you in 2 weeks, and I appreciate your support. I will still be posting, of course, through the week, and make sure you go out there and tell your employees you're thankful for them, and then go even farther and do a Facebook Live and thank your customers. You could do one a day, and nobody would be bored with it. They would just remember, oh, they were really nice to do business with. And as callous as it may sound, it's probably also great marketing for you. So with that in mind, remember, you don't have the luxury of a negative thought. You never did, you never will, certainly won't for holiday 2020. I'm Bob Phibbs, the Retail Doctor. Thanks for joining me today.